Hey, how's everyone doing?
Hey.
What's up, man?
Morning.
We're in 3 different time zones here. We got Los Angeles, California. We got Stockholm, Sweden. And we got Santa Fe, New Mexico. With those two down there, correct?
Yep.
Everyone's traveling everywhere, so I don't know where anyone is anymore. But it's great to have you guys. And we wanted to just get, the faces behind the Martorn EP and, a little bit more details out front for people who are wondering about the mysterious Martorn EP. So we got Augustine Ortiz. He's the other half of Intelladon Records. He and I co-direct and co-own the label, the humble label. He is also the owner of the Decibel Foundry, the recording studio in Santa Fe, where many a record has been recorded and produced of the heavy nature. And he is also in the blastastic death, hell, grind metal band Dysphotic with Ben Durfee. So we got actually Martorn and Dysphotic here, if you want to point it out that way. And Ben Durfee is the drummer nader who blasted throughout the whole Martorn EP. There's just one instrumental track that we did after the fact that's not metal that came out as an afterthought with Emma and I, which you guys will be delighted to hear.
Oh, nice.
And what's your other current project right now, Ben, in terms of playing drums? Because that's your...
I recorded drums for an upcoming full length with a band from New Mexico called Coma Recovery.
Nice.
They're from Albuquerque, if you want to get specific. I actually tracked those drums with Augustine last summer.
Nice.
So kind of a slow moving process on that record, but super excited with how it's turned out so far. That's a big old full length with those guys. Obviously, Dysphotic takes up a good chunk of my creative energy and time. And then I also have a progressive death metal band, like melodic death metal band called Casovita that I've been with for really the entire time that I've been playing drums.
Beautiful.
That band releases music like very, very infrequently. It's sort of like a unicorn sighting whenever a song, whenever a new Casovita song is released.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like it's like a perpetual, like lifelong project that I've been involved in and that I likely will be involved in sort of forever. And then I have another project that was sort of born out of the pandemic with a few really, really good old friends of mine that I used to be in a band with called As In We, and that was much more of like a instrumental sort of experimental rock. And a few members of that band and myself have reunited, and we're making very non-metal music right now.
Yeah.
A little bit more poppy, a little bit more like indie rock.
Nice. A different part of the palette.
Exactly. Yep.
That's good. That's always good.
Yeah.
I think it's all important. But that's awesome, man. You got
busy man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I start to feel really weird when I'm not really busy playing music.
Yeah, I would find it very weird as well.
Yeah.
If Ben Durfee wasn't playing drums on something like now.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, but that's awesome, man. And Augustine, what you got going?
Oh man, just doing a lot of recording right now. Coming out of the pandemic, it's been crazy busy. So a lot of local bands, Was helping with Ben with the Coma Recovery full length just recently. Did a single for a local thrash metal band like Kill 'Em All style. Working with with like a punk metal band. Just finished a full length with the Blackout Pictures, who's like a, I don't know, vigilante rock and roll almost metal band.
Nice.
And then like a couple like solo project EPs. It's been crazy busy. And then doing a lot of video work also. Just did a video for Bitwig Studio and a couple music videos for Alter Apex. It's like another local band here in Santa Fe.
Beautiful.
So yeah, just been crazy busy, man. But it's been good. Like same thing. I don't know what I'd do with myself if I wasn't busy. So might as well just keep grinding.
Yeah. What's going on with you and Emma? What are you guys involved in?
Well, we have a EP coming out called Martorn, and it's self-titled.
Oh, cool! I didn't know about that.
Yeah, and it has an amazing fucking drummer on it.
Yeah,
named Ben Durfee, and it was recorded and co-produced by an amazing engineer producer named Augustine Ortiz at the Decibel Foundry. You might have heard about it. In Santa Fe, New Mexico. And on a serious note, thank you guys very, very much. It would not be what it is, without you two. And Emma and I honestly consider this like probably our best work to date. And yeah, I mean it's incredible, and it's really an honor to have to all work together and to have the final product as what it is. I mean, it's beautiful, and then we really look forward to working together again when the time comes in the midst of all of our madness. So yeah, we had in Santa Fe, it was really awesome, and thank you for having us over.
And then of course Augustine was there to greet us, and it was great. But I do remember that you guys had started recording the drums like as me and Art were flying in or something, and since this is such a Martorn is always like, how do you say this in a better way, but like my baby, I remember even though I completely trusted you guys, I was like somehow a little bit nervous.
Of course, we're gonna feel the nerves of something that something that's so close to. I think any artist can relate to that. When you have a project that you're so close to and you've been working on it so hard, and then we decided later in the process, okay, we got our heads so deep into this, it's time to get a second and or third pair of ears to hone us in, because we were too close to it, and we needed the Bob Rock,
Maybe to explain, like what we basically did is recorded demos, right? You could say, and we sent them to Augustine, and they got to work. So, how was that? Like when we sent you the demos, Augustine, and you listened to them, what was do you remember your initial reaction? Were you like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
No, I do remember. So, Artie and I worked together with Intellidon, so I was actually in LA when I first heard the demos, and I think I first met you, and I was in LA at the time, and it was actually really awesome to hear that, and I was like, holy shit, this is super heavy, a lot of depth, and a lot of different styles all put together, and the vocal work was amazing, all the guitar work was amazing, and I was like, this is going to be great to work on. And I think even at the time, it wasn't even necessarily that I was going to be working on it at all. It was more just like, hey, from the label perspective, what are we going to do with something like this? And hearing that, I remember the initial hearing, I was like, holy shit, this is freaking killer. Like this definitely has to get finished and put out at some point. And that was with the demo drums. That wasn't even with the drums we put down. And then thankfully when the opportunity came up to be able to work together on it, I was really stoked because, especially pulling Ben in, and we really treated it like our own. I mean, we really treated it like as if it was our own project, our own baby. So, definitely put everything we had into it. I know I definitely did. And
Absolutely.
And I think it was a big part of that project to be like, all right, we're gonna treat it as if it's our own and put our own stamp on it, but at the same time respect the art that had already been done and the amount of work that already went into it. So I think we tried to put all we could into it, and it was a great experience. We did start early because it was mostly a scheduling thing, just because we knew it would take so many days to do drums, and then you were going to be in town for so many days, and then of course we stayed at my house and everything. So it was a great time overall, just to hang with friends and work on it. And working with Ben is always a joy. Just the creativity and the playing and everything else. So yeah, I'm really proud of where it went and how everything turned out.
Me too. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I remember when we were like making the demo drums, I was like, "Hey Art, do you know somebody that can actually play this?" And you're like, "Hell yeah!"
Like, of course.
Of course.
Between Augustine and I, we know, the best people to play the best things and the best everything.
Seriously. So was that your experience, Ben? When you heard it, were you like, "Oh yeah, of course I can play this," and then you just drummed it up, or?
Yeah. I mean, I think for the no. I mean, I guess I should approach it a little bit more humbly. I didn't think to myself when I heard it like, "Fuck yeah, I got this." It was more like, okay, this is definitely. It's been arranged by somebody who has like very specific ideas, who has a lot of experience within this genre, and I work with different types of people, recording different types of music, not as much as I'd like to, but fairly regularly. And I think that it's always hard to tell, like, the standard that people sort of like have in their minds for the drums that they've programmed. Like, do they expect me to play these drums exactly how they're programmed? Do they, which oftentimes is the case. Someone like will program something and say like, I want it like done exactly this way, or is it a really raw skeleton from someone who really doesn't know how to play drums and they just have sort of given me placeholders? So it really kind of varies in regards to how I approach projects that people present to me with drums kind of mapped out. And with this project specifically, I remember hearing the demos and kind of thinking to myself like, okay, well, these are written in a way where like this person obviously like knows drums, like they know what they want. It's more than just like prefabricated beats. It's someone who obviously kind of like put some intentionality into it. So in that sense, I was not intimidated, but I just knew that I would be working with people who were on like a certain caliber and who had like a certain like amount of experience in a pretty technical genre. So I didn't think to myself initially like, hell yeah, I can do it. I mean, I knew like technically there was nothing I heard that I couldn't do. But I really was also just approaching it kind of cautiously, like, okay, do they want me to do it like just like this? Are they going to expect me to do more? But in any case, the people that are giving me this material obviously have like a pretty powerful, intense vision that I just hope I can fulfill. And but overall, I felt pretty confident about it for sure. So yeah, big props to you guys for those demo tracks. They were intense. They were intense for sure. And it's funny with metal, because I mean I do session work for all different types of music. But with metal stuff, sometimes like I'll get demos and I'm like, dude, this is like someone with 5 arms and 3 legs, and
yeah.
So it really covers the spectrum of what people kind of give to me and then want me to reinterpret in a human way. But yeah, what you guys gave me, it was just all really good. And it was all very playable at the same time. They were ideas that like made sense, you know? So, although I was like, you know, approaching it cautiously, I was definitely confident that, you know, you guys knew the limits of human capabilities, which was refreshing.
Yeah,
and so
think like drummers.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. Yeah, having like an understanding of that sense of rhythm, and that was really apparent in those tracks. So that actually made me really excited to work on it. I was like, okay, cool. These sound like real drummer ideas, and not like, I mean, there's this sort of like, not like a saying, but almost, you know, the drummers will talk about drum parts that are like written obviously by guitarists. Where the person obviously doesn't know how to play drums, and they're writing these drums as like this crazy, almost like from a virtuoso perspective, you know. And then I approach it, I'm like, I can't do that, you know. But
that's three arms, three legs.
Right. But that wasn't my experience here. It was a lot more down to earth and realistic, while at the same time it was very intense and very intentional. And honestly, it was really kind of right up my alley. I was kind of just a lucky, you know, connection that we were all able to make, in that this style of metal specifically, which is sort of like melodic death metal, you know, is a style that I've just happened to play that. I've been playing that for quite a while, you know, and those types of drums specifically I've been playing for quite a while. So I heard it and I was excited for sure.
That's great to hear. To hear. So we did good and you did great.
Yeah, good way.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that. It was and just to touch on what Augustine was saying, it was fun because I think in my history with Augustine recording and also writing music with Dysphotic and whatever else we've done, when we got this project from you guys, it was sort of like, it felt like we were caring for our own project in a way, you know, and we approached it with that level of care and thoughtfulness, and
it shows.
Yeah. Well, I think we just really felt it, you know. It's a genre that I think Augustine and I both just really feel at home in producing and performing, and obviously working with Augustine is always fantastic. It's really smooth. I mean, it's just such a family type environment, you know, where we co-create on a really like radical level, to where it's just really fun to work together. And so it was really comfortable, and it was honestly just a lot of fun to sort of take what you guys gave us and then be like, maybe we'll add some tambourine right here.
Yeah.
You know, or change the blast beat a little bit, you know, like how I would change it. And then Augustine always has like so much great advice, because when I'm in the studio, my mind kind of can go like 1,000 miles an hour, and Augustine is always like a really great person to just bounce ideas off of. So it was really a cooperative effort, and just a great time, man. Super great time.
Yeah, and it totally shows. That's exactly why when Augustine was over and in LA, I was showing him the first demos. I was like, okay, take a listen to this, and what do you think? And he was saying, oh, this is awesome, this is cool. It's like, maybe you could cut this shorter here or cut there. And I'm like, yes, tell me more.
Right.
And I mean, it just made sense to have this, collaborative effort with his experience, your experience, and of course you're the first one to come to mind because we were saying, he was like, were you going to get a real drummer on this? And I said, well, ideally, yes, that's ideal. Yeah.
Mhm.
I've done a lot of other projects where I just programmed the drums because
Right.
and it didn't matter because of the nature of the project.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. Like some of the projects were meant to. I mean, some of them, a lot of them I did were ridiculous, wacky, crazy stuff. So it didn't matter if it sounded like a robot playing, with appendages and all that. But for something like this, that definitely wouldn't have been good, to progress. So
Mhm.
we mapped it out, totally thinking like drummers,
Yeah.
with the traditional amount of arms and leg,
Mhm.
and it totally shows that you guys had your dark hearts inside of it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So getting to New Mexico, we actually recorded a lot of the parts at the Decibel Foundry. And that experience, aside from Augustine co-producing it, he's recording engineer. And the Decibel Foundry, again, as I said, produced many a heavy record. And it was super awesome. I mean, left and right, walls of amps and cabs and speakers, and there's even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles soundproof on the ceiling. Forgot what that material is called, but that was a nice treat. In the vocal booth, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while. It had been a while since I had recorded, actual cabs and amps and loud, blasting guitars, and so it was a real treat. It was a real treat to do that, and I mean, I was really impressed with the Decibel Foundry's setup. So, efficient, compact, but breathable. I mean, really awesome the way you got it set up there.
Yeah, I agree. Like anything you would want, basically. And then working with you, Augustine, I don't know if this is like especially a singer thing, but like being able to feel like you got everything. I don't need to think about anything else than just like experiencing the songs as I'm singing them. I mean, that's huge. And then when I had ideas, maybe for parts with like different harmonies and stuff like that, you were right there with me. Like you knew exactly what I was kind of going for and helped me develop that. I mean, it's just the experience recording was awesome. It was just I was really able to like focus on bringing the best out of what I could do in there and nothing else. And that's all you would ever want, right?
Yeah, thank you for the kind words. Yeah, and I mean it was great working with you all, and that's what I love about having the studio and built it in that way is really the goal was to be as collaborative for the artists, and the artists I work with as much as possible, and to be efficient. And I mean, I wish I was more efficient in some ways, but just trying to, I mean, that's really the important part. There's a lot of pieces that are less important, but, I think I've always wanted to be just a comfortable, collaborative space and creative space and efficient and be able to do as many records as we can there. So I'm glad to hear that at least have it somewhat achieved that goal and that you noticed that goal. So I'm glad that it worked out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I really look forward to, again, visiting again and recording more stuff with you guys over at the Decibel Foundry, which is excellent experience. And Emma and I, we took, our Martorn mind meld brains storming from LA, and we, materialized and developed and fleshed out, so to speak, with you guys over there. So, I mean, it was a great great place to do it.
Awesome. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, and I think, you know, I'm stoked to work with Ben because it's, you know, he brings creative ideas to the table. We collaborate really well together, and yeah, it was awesome. And then yeah, I think being part of this genre and knowing, you know, working with this genre a lot, and you know, I think a lot of the Martorn stuff still has a fresh take on it. Like, it's not just mellow death, it's not just black metal. It has a really good meld of a lot of those parts, and actually, a lot of the drum parts are surprisingly challenging, and there's a lot of progressive movement in there and a lot of off-time signatures and a lot of, you know, subtle, complicated stuff, but still with a lot of groove. I mean, I think it really did a good job of marrying that balance. And I mean, that's what I live for, you know, is these genre bending, genre defining stuff, you know, especially in the metal genres, which can get a little bit, you know, repetitive. And so to pull and bend a lot of those pieces together, and then, you know, working with you, of course, on guitar is always great because you have a ton of ideas, and then Emma's vocals ideas and her take on it, but still being super brutal. And then with Ben's ideas all put together, I think really came together to something great, and something that has a lot of movement and you kind of grows with you over time, but still kind of catches you right away. So, you know, it was great to work on that and have that collaborative effort. And even though you put so much time into the demo and the demoing process, I was really thankful that you weren't just stuck on that it was like, all right, we have new ideas, and you're able to accept them. It was like, no, we just want you to do what you're told. It was very much like, oh, that's a cool idea, yeah, let's do that. Or, you know, it was a good collaborative effort, which I think was really important. And that helped us make it part of our, you know, put it as much as we could into it. You know, we felt really a part of it.
I'll just add a quick little note onto that and say that it is nice to just be a part of a project or be approached with a project like this, but have the freedom to provide, you know, creative input. That just makes it so much more enjoyable, and like 10 times out of 10, in my experience, it makes for a better, more like the end product when everyone can really kind of bring something to the table that's authentic to who they are as an artist, you know. So
totally.
big hats off to you both for having such a specific and like unique vision, but also in allowing people to kind of add their own sort of voicing to it. I mean, that's hard to do, to sort of like open up in that way, to let other people offer their own creative input, and then at the end of the day accept it. Like, that's a big deal. So that makes it just really enjoyable, and that made the process just like easy, you know, and great. Absolutely. And because we knew we knew who we were asking, you know, and right. We knew that while we had, you know, our vision and map of what we thought the songs would be, there's nothing like the magic of, okay, here's, you know, tell me what you guys would do if, you know, you made this and a real drummer took these parts and, you know, add his flair and do whatever comes out, and, you know, ideas for arranging and so on and so forth. So, you know, I don't feel like we steered off, you know, a whole different direction. I feel like it enhanced it to the next level.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, I think that's like something that you and I have been developing art when we've been working on the songs is because it's always easy to be like, okay, I don't like this part as much as the old one, like if you're gonna replace a part or something. But do I feel that way because I'm so used to hearing the old one that I did it, or is it like actually better than the new one, you know? And I feel like it takes a while until you like are able to open yourself up to that might be the case every time you hear something new with the song. And so
Yeah.
it's something that I like learned when you and I started working, or to be very aware of that fact. Without that, I probably might not have been as open to like other changes and stuff. So
No, yeah, it's very important, and I'm glad that we got to open up to that just because something is familiar doesn't mean it's better.
right. It's like just because something is louder doesn't mean it's better, but it's gonna sound better. Louder songs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's such a great part about working with Augustine also at the Decibel Foundry is like you can always expect that there will be constructive input, and that you can always have that like other person to bounce your ideas off of. Even if it's not something that you expected would happen, Augustine is just such a well-rounded artist, whether it's in terms of actually being a musician or a performer or a producer, he just has so much sort of wisdom and so much time invested in what he's done in all those different areas that I think it's really special to be able to have a place that you can bring a project like this to and have somebody really, provide a lot of insight, and a lot of feedback, and ultimately a lot of work that makes your product better than it would have been without them, without that person. So hats off to Augustine for all those moments, and all that advice and all that constructive. I keep wanting to say constructive criticism, but that's not the right phrase. It's just, I think it's just being a good, producer, an artist.
Yeah.
You guys are
Absolutely.
making me blush over here.
And rightly so. You deserve every. Yeah, it's all true. It's all good stuff, man. Really an honor to work with you.
Yeah, likewise. I mean, it's the breadth of musical knowledge in this team that put this together is incredible. On all fronts, right? Ben's experience with all the different genres he works with, and again, an overall sense of music, and then the ability to actually play the ideas in his head is really incredible. Because I was just listening to the tracks earlier. I was like, dude. Very nice work, and what I love about it is I've worked with Ben a lot, so I can hear that it's Ben Durfee, right? I can hear, his playing and his structure and how he composes. It's great, and it's really amazing, again, being presented demos that were so distinct and kind of ready to go, that he still is able to get his stamp on it in a good way, and bring something extra to the table, which is important. And I mean, in the whole project as well, like Artie, I can hear your playing. I can hear the Despite Loyalty influence. I can hear the Prainborg influence. I can hear, your playing, your style all throughout it. And I'm like, yep, that's Artie on guitar, 100%. And then Emma, we've worked probably the least together, but still, what you brought, your screaming vocals and all the passion and power behind all of that. And then being able to pull that out of you. And then, your melodic singing background and, some of your other projects, like hearing those influences come in there. It's like, yeah, these are the projects I love, where I can actually hear the people, I can hear the artists in the music. And I think that's like what I always strive for as well. It's like, I want to hear the personality of the performers in the music. And it's cool to listen back to it, after it's been finished and listen to it and go like, yeah, I think we nailed it. So I'm really, really proud of how it all came out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it kind of goes into like, if you want to get to know somebody, like somebody that is a musician, just listen to the record.
Yeah.
They're on there.
Yeah.
if it's
Right.
yeah, if it's well recorded, it's probably the most true version of that person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, and these days, I mean, sometimes you lose it though. Like there's so much editing and stuff now involved. I'm always afraid that we're gonna like lose that personality. But I don't feel we did that. I mean, it's insanely tight. I mean, this album is insanely tight, but it's like everyone actually played that tight, which is frightening. Which is great, and or we were able to save that personality, which I think is so important.
Yeah. All right, so it comes out in a little bit less than a week, 2nd of July.
Yeah. July 2nd,
Yeah, July 2nd. Maybe that's how you say
the
it.
Martorn shall drop.
Yes. Self-titled, shall drop everywhere. And I don't know, maybe people are wondering if we're gonna drop a video as well.
Yes.
Okay.
A brand new video will drop with the EP for a new song in the EP. And that's exciting as well. And I think you guys will really enjoy it.
Ooh, stoked to see it. I've
Yeah,
loved everything
likewise.
that came out so far.
Art, Emma, it's great to see you guys. Thank you so much. And I am so excited for this awesome EP to drop. And yeah, to whatever comes next.